Welcome back to the deep dive. So this deep dive is really for anyone who's ever had that moment.
That blank stare moment.
Exactly. When someone asks, so what's your specialty? And you don't have an answer. This is for you if you've been told to niche down
Yeah.
when your whole mind just wants to expand.
Yeah, we're diving into a really powerful stack of material here, and it completely dismantles that specialization mindset. The central claim is, well, it's pretty aggressive.
It is.
It says that in our modern post-industrial age, having a single specialized focus is almost certain death.
Certain death. Wow. Okay, so we need to unpack that.
We do, but the core argument is that the world has just changed so fundamentally that, the old rules just don't apply anymore.
It's provocative for sure, but also, honestly, kind of a relief to hear for anyone juggling like 5 different interests at once.
Yeah.
Our mission today is to find what the material calls the missing piece.
The vessel.
The vessel, right. It's this necessary structure to channel all that boundless, diverse curiosity into meaningful work. Work that can actually generate an income rather than just letting it all devolve into distraction.
And that structure is so vital. I think a lot of multi-interested people, ambitious people, they suffer from what gets called shiny object syndrome, or they get stuck in a tutorial hell.
Right.
But the source suggests this isn't some moral failure or a character flaw. It's a sign that the system you're operating in is just obsolete. You're being forced down a narrow path when your brain is literally designed for wide-angle exploration.
So this is all about leveraging that innate curiosity, turning it into a competitive advantage.
Exactly.
Okay, so let's start at the beginning. We should probably establish why specialization became this, sacred cow in the first place. For centuries, it really was the engine of progress.
Oh, absolutely unnecessary. For the Industrial Revolution, it was the only way to maximize that kind of mechanical efficiency.
Right. And I keep coming back to that famous warning from Adam Smith. It's so ironic because he was the one championing all this efficiency. But he said the specialized worker, quote, generally becomes as stupid and ignorant as it is possible for a human creature to become.
He saw the dehumanizing part of the equation even as he was promoting it.
He did. And the numbers, they really prove the point. The sources use that classic pin factory example.
Yeah.
A single worker doing all 18 steps might make, 20 pins in a day?
Something like that. But when you break it down, you have 18 workers, each specializing in just one step. One straightens the wire, one cuts it, one puts the head on.
And suddenly they're making 48,000 pins a day.
The jump in efficiency is just staggering.
48,000, that's a scale shift that's almost impossible to really wrap your head around, and it totally reshaped, everything.
It did, and it reshaped our education system along with it. Schools were optimized to serve that industrial machine. They were designed to produce workers who were punctual and obedient.
But here's the harsh reality for the individual in that system.
Yeah, the downside.
Specialization makes you dependent, and ultimately it makes you highly dispensable. The system doesn't need you specifically to do that one little task.
Which hits incredibly hard today with automation just accelerating everything. So if that's the problem, dependence, disposability, what's the antidote? What are the building blocks for becoming what the source calls smart and sovereign?
Right, in this new age.
Well, the material boils it down to a really powerful structure. It calls it the triad of sovereignty.
Okay.
And it's made of 3 interlocking ingredients: self-education, self-interest, and self-sufficiency.
Those are words we hear a lot, but how do they work together? How do they create sovereignty, especially for a generalist?
Let's define them a bit more precisely. So self-education is about taking intentional, directed control over your own learning. You're not learning for a grade.
You're learning for an outcome.
Exactly. If you want results that are completely different from what traditional education produces, you have to grab the rudder yourself.
Got it. Okay, now self-interest. I know a lot of people will hear that and immediately think of selfishness or just cheap indulgence.
For sure. It sounds a bit like self-indulgence, right? Like
Yeah.
you're just chasing hobbies forever with no output.
Yeah, how do we avoid that?
Well, the nuance is key here.
Yeah.
The source is very clear. This is not about chasing cheap dopamine. It's about a concern for one's own flourishing. It means you reject the need to constantly sacrifice your time and your energy for, corporate interests.
It's about integrity.
It's about aligning with what a self-respecting person truly values. The kind of person who, as philosophers like Ayn Rand pointed out, neither sacrifices themselves to others nor sacrifices others to themselves. That integrity is what guides your curiosity.
So that's the self-respect that gives the self-education a purpose, a direction.
Precisely. And that path leads directly to the third piece, self-sufficiency, which is the absolute foundation of the whole thing. This is your refusal to outsource your judgment, your agency, and ultimately your livelihood. When you refuse to be dependent, you have to acquire the skills to stand on your own.
So they create a feedback loop.
A continuous one. Self-interest motivates your self-education. That education enables your self-sufficiency. And then being self-sufficient gives you the clarity to better define your true self-interest. They just keep building on each other.
This is where that historical lens gets really interesting, because this moment we're in, with automation and the collapse of all these barriers, it feels like history repeating, but just at an exponential speed.
A second renaissance.
That's what the source calls it, a second renaissance.
And it's a stunning parallel. I mean, think about the spirit of the original Renaissance, Leonardo da Vinci, right? The ultimate polymath. He said, study the science of art, study the art of science, realize that everything connects to everything else.
And the spark for that first explosion of genius in the 15th century was the printing press.
Precisely. Before Gutenberg, knowledge was hoarded. Books were copied by hand, information was scarce, it was expensive, but then, bang, the printing press arrives.
20 million books.
20 million books flood Europe in just 50 years. The cost of knowledge just collapses overnight. And that's what allowed guys like Da Vinci and Michelangelo to pursue mastery in so many different domains in a single lifetime.
That shift is just, it's hard to grasp. And we are living through that same collapse of knowledge cost right now. But our catalyst isn't ink and paper.
It's the internet and automation. Automation is just wiping out all that specialized, repetitive, siloed work.
Which means the ultimate competitive edge. The moat, as people say in business. It's not specialization anymore.
No, the ultimate moat is a truly unique perspective. It's an original opinion forged by your unique life experience and your unique combination of interests. That's the one thing AI can't just generate on its own.
Because every single interest you pursue, it leaves behind a residue.
Yes, a residue. I like that term. Think of it like intellectual seasoning. Every skill, every book, every weird hobby you pick up, it expands the complexity of how you see the world.
So a more complex mental model means you can spot opportunities a specialist can't even see.
And solve higher value problems. Your true value is found at the intersection of all those disciplines you've been exploring.
That really is the aha moment for the polymath who's worried they're just dabbling, you're not wasting time, you're building a proprietary model of the world.
Absolutely. And you can see this in practice everywhere. Think about someone who studied, say, psychology and web design.
Okay.
They don't just build a functional website. They see user behavior through a completely different lens than a pure coder would. They get the emotional friction points, the subtle cognitive biases.
Or what about someone who learned high-level sales and also philosophy?
Right. They close deals with a depth and an ethical framework that a pure, high-pressure salesman just doesn't have.
And the person who gets deep into physical fitness and health, but then combines it with business strategy?
They build health companies that a pure MBA, even from a top-tier school, can't comprehend. The MBA understands the market silo. The polymath understands the whole synthesis, the pain point, the system to solve it, and the market mechanics. The value isn't in mastering the silo anymore.
It's in bridging the silos.
Yes.
Okay, so we have the drive self-interest, and we have the toolkit, that residue of intersection. But now comes the biggest challenge for most people. How do we actually combine the learning with the earning? How do we channel all this into a career using that vessel we're trying to build?
Well, the immediate functional answer is you need people to become interested in your interests. And you need a way for them to pay you for the solutions you create.
Right.
Product.
Right.
But the real engine underneath all of that is attention. In a world of infinite information and production, attention is one of the very last remaining moats.
Because it doesn't matter what you're launching, software, a course, an idea, the winners are the ones people actually know about. You need distribution.
Precisely. And the solution to escaping that cycle of working for someone else's paycheck is to actively create for yourself. This is where the modern idea of a creator mindset comes in.
And we should probably reframe that, because I know a lot of listeners hear creator or influencer, and they just tune out.
It's a fair point. If you're building a sovereign career, you don't want to just be a sponsored ad for a protein shake.
So how is this definition different? How does it avoid that trap?
By accepting a new reality. Every business is a media business now. It's as simple as that. Your product or your service, it needs a mechanism to get in front of interested people. And right now, That mechanism is digital media. That's the vessel.
And that reframe immediately turns the polymath's natural tendency into a professional asset. If you just love learning and consuming information, that's now your job.
It becomes research. You're essentially just taking notes in public. You were already doing the work, reading the books, synthesizing ideas for yourself. Now you just shift that activity slightly and document your process and your insights publicly.
And that single shift creates the foundation of a business and solves the distribution problem at the same time.
And it makes you incredibly adaptable. Let's say your first product idea, sauce tool or something, it doesn't land. You haven't lost everything.
Right, you still have an audience.
You have an audience that's interested in your perspective. They might support your next idea or even invest in it. You've totally mitigated the risk of starting from zero.
Which is the essence of self-sufficiency in the digital age. Okay, so let's get into the structure of that business. The barrier to entry has pretty much collapsed. Laptop, internet, you're good to go. The material lays out two main paths.
The first is the skill-based model. This dominated the early internet economy. You learn one marketable skill, Facebook ads, Python, whatever, and you teach it.
Right, sell a course on it.
It could be lucrative for sure, but it's still one-dimensional. You end up chasing whatever skill is most profitable, not what really aligns with your diverse interests. You can quickly build yourself a highly specialized digital 9-to-5.
And you're right back where you started, just in a different factory.
Exactly. The recommended path, the one for the polymath, is the development-based business model.
This one sounds deeper. It's not about a single skill. It's focused on those 4 eternal markets: health, wealth, relationships, happiness. It's all about self-actualization.
And here's the absolutely crucial detail that just flips the entire marketing script on its head. In this model, you don't start by creating a fictional customer avatar.
No.
You turn yourself into the customer avatar.
Oh, that changes everything. So you pursue your own goals. You solve your own complex life problems. And that process itself is what validates the usefulness of what you're building.
Yes. Your entire product ecosystem, your content, your courses, your tools, is then just designed to help the past version of yourself get to that same goal, only faster and with less friction. You are the proof of concept.
So the goal isn't to be an influencer.
The goal is to simply be you, but to exist in a public place, the internet, where the systems you've developed for yourself can be discovered and supported by others.
Okay, so once you've chosen that development-based model, you have to execute. The foundation rests on 3 pillars: brand, content, and product. Let's start with brand. It feels like the most misused word online.
For sure. And it's so much more than a logo or a slick profile picture. Brand, in this context, is an environment where people come to transform.
An environment.
Yeah, it's the specific world you invite people into. It's not what they see on their first visit. It's the synthesis, the accumulation of your unique ideas in their mind after they've spent 3 to 6 months in your ecosystem. It's your story, your worldview, all of it.
And the advice is not to stress about designing it perfectly on day one.
No, your brand takes shape organically as you start writing content.
Which leads us right to the second pillar, content. In this age of just an endless fire hose of information, how does a polymath's voice stand out?
The goal is high idea density. Because everyone is writing something, the edge comes from curating the best possible ideas, synthesizing concepts from different fields, and then presenting them with clarity. Your content needs to live at that intersection of performance, how much other people find it useful, and excitement, how much you genuinely care.
That's the challenge, the curation. How do you tune that signal-to-noise ratio?
It's a habit. You have to build an idea museum or a swipe file. This is the core practice. You jot down every useful idea, every quote, every strange connection you find immediately. And you seek out high-density sources, old books, curated blogs, social accounts that really challenge you.
So once you've captured the idea, the next hurdle is articulation, especially for someone who's not a professional writer.
And that's the pivot you have to make.
Yeah.
You have to learn to write one idea 1,000 different ways. Getting good isn't just about having the idea. It's the structure, the word choice, the articulation that makes it stick.
And the material has a really great tactic for this, using tech to speed up that practice.
Yeah, you can use AI analysis to learn the mechanics. You take a post that performed incredibly well and you feed it to a model like Claude. You ask it to break down why it worked. The hook, the psychological triggers, the pacing, the tone. Then you replicate that style with your own ideas.
You're practicing articulation, not stealing content.
Exactly. You're rapidly internalizing what makes communication effective.
Finally, product. We're fully in a systems economy now. People don't just want a solution. They want your unique, validated system for getting a result.
And again, you build that system by solving your own problems first. It has to flow, it has to get results. Think of a newsletter-centric content system. The problem was wasting time creating unique stuff for 7 platforms.
Hmm.
So the system, the product, is a workflow. Write high-quality content once for the newsletter, then have a process to atomize it and cross-post it. Threads become carousels, newsletters become videos.
That focus on flow and internal validation, that's what makes a product feel different, not just another template.
Precisely. It's custom-built, it's validated because it works for you, and it's efficient because a polymath built it. Someone who understands the intersection of the content, the platform, and the business goal.
So if we pull all of this together, the core transformation for you, the listener, is pretty clear. The polymath's vessel is that disciplined combination of the three ingredients: self-education, self-interest, and self-sufficiency.
Hmm.
And you channel all of that into a development-based business model, which is then powered by idea-dense content and your own custom efficient systems.
The opportunity has really never been better for natural polymaths. Their diverse interests, which society used to see as a professional handicap, are now the very source of their competitive edge. Your unique intersections are the only things that can't be easily replicated. That's where all the value is now.
And for you, the learner, the immediate next step is incredibly simple, but it does require a little boldness. The whole process starts with taking notes in public. So what is one concept, one skill, or one system, no matter how small, that you have successfully mastered for yourself that you could start documenting and teaching to your past self starting today? That simple act of documentation, that's your first piece of content, and it's the first turn of your vessel's rudder.